in the history of Africa, this is the very first time an African country hosted the G20 summit. And it was a success. It took me time to make this video because I was actually waiting for somebody that attended the G20 summit to say something, to tweet something, to write something, like, so that, okay, I was not treated well when I attended this summit. Like, I did not see anybody. I was going from one social media to the other to see if somebody will even say something. Like, you needed to see how everybody was congratulating the government of South Africa. Like, this is the second event that South Africans are hosting for the country of Africa, or rather for the continent of Africa. 2010, they hosted the World Cup, and it was a success. Everybody that came for that World Cup went back in one piece. Now, this G20 summit that they hosted, everybody that came went back in one piece. And you needed to see how a Nigerian dignitary was hugging the president. The lady said, "This thing you have done for Africa does not deserve a handshake." Like, this lady needed to hug the president of South Africa. Like, yo, South Africa, like I do say, you are not lucky, you are blessed. In as much as your president is not giving you what you want, the truth is that your president is noticeable. He's a good man. I'm telling you, he's a good man. Hold him very well. Like, what your president is doing for the country of South Africa, like, many African countries, their presidents will not even dare. They will not even try it. Like, Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back again to this space. This is your getting out a little bit of everything. In case you are seeing my face for the very first time, please do not make it your last. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave a comment, share, like, and turn on the notification bell so you'll always be the first to get notified each time I upload a video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always stopping by to come watch my videos. Like, when I watched President Ramaphosa speaking on the issues in Africa, I was like, seriously, you know one thing? All the presidents in Africa, they know that there is an issue, insecurity, unemployment, like this. Like, there are so many things that they know that is going on in Africa. And though your president was able to list these things out, let's watch this video.
Some water. Thank you. Let's be seated, please. Amandla. Amandla. Matla. Matimba. Manda. Mase. Program Director, Minister Kumbuzo Nchabeni, former Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, Minister of Human Rights of the Federative Republic of Brazil, Ms. Makai Evaristo, ministers from our government here in South Africa who have come in numbers, and deputy ministers as well, members of our parliament, premiers of our provinces. I've seen the premier of Gauteng where we are, and the premier of KwaZulu-Natal, councillors of our local government and mayors, and members of our provincial legislatures, delegates from the G20 member states who are here present, representatives of international organizations who are here present, co-conveners of the Social Summit and Sherpas of the G20, members of the diplomatic corps, heads of delegation, representatives of religious and Khoi and San religious leaders, delegates and guests and friends. Sanbonani, Dumelang, Abshin, Khuyamore, Molweni, Dimacheron, Lochani, Rishile. I greet you all in the name of the people of South Africa, but also greet you in South Africa's beautiful languages. One of these greetings, Sanibonani in the Zulu language, typifies precisely what we are about. It literally means we see each other. We are acknowledging the personhood, the value, and the dignity of the one that we are meeting. We are also affirming the cherished principle of Ubuntu. I am because we are. This is the spirit in which this G20 Social Summit is being held. And it speaks very loudly to the proverb that we have on the African continent, that if you want to go fast anywhere, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. This is what we are doing. There are some who have dubbed what we are doing through the G20 Summit by holding a number of other G meetings, which I'll speak about in a little while, that we are having a G100, a G1000, and that is true. We are having a G1,000,000 because we are about inclusiveness, bringing people together, and this summit is possibly the best of all the G summits that we are going to have. So I want to applaud you. I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank you for your contributions, which I hear have ended up with a beautiful declaration. Beautiful things are happening in South Africa. "70 years ago, in 1955, two seminal events took place that would be pivotal in defining human relations in our own country and across the world. The first was the Asian African Conference in Indonesia, in an area called Bandung. It is now known, that meeting, as the Bandung Conference. At the time, a wave of independence was reshaping Africa and Asia. This conference has been described as the moment the Global South began to speak for itself. Like we are doing today, you, as part of the Social Summit, you are getting our people to speak for themselves, not only to be spoken about by the political leaders. It is the people who are speaking for themselves. The delegates to the Bandung Conference made a commitment to advancing peace and equality, to solidarity, to economic and political cooperation that is rooted in mutual respect and justice. The second seminal event of 1955 was the Conference of the People that was held here in Johannesburg in a place called Kliptown. It was the height of the apartheid rule. Repression and oppression was rife in our country. Only a minority of South Africans were privileged, whilst the majority were oppressed and excluded from many things. It was at the Congress of the People that South Africans of all races, all faiths and all creeds gathered to adopt the Freedom Charter, which would be the forerunner to South Africa's democratic constitution. The Freedom Charter boldly declares that there shall be peace and friendship, and it boldly declared that the people shall govern, and that this shall be secured by upholding equal rights, opportunities, as well as status for all. History, too, will record this year as a milestone for global cooperation. We affirm the historic nature not only of the first summit of the G20 to take place on African soil, but also of this social summit, a gathering of the peoples from across the world. You are making history. The initial history was made in Brazil when President Lula convened a social summit of the G20. But you are making history because this is the very first time that a social summit of the G20 is being held on African soil, and you can applaud yourself. Your summit is taking place at a time of great uncertainty around the world. Political polarization, global poverty, conflict and war, and the growing impact of climate change are threatening global development. Inequality in wealth distribution, imbalances in international development finance, and in disparities in access to financial resources are holding back our ability to meet the aspirations of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. As a continent, we are in tandem, striving to realize the aspirations of the African Union's Agenda 2063 to develop the Africa that we want. This is the second G20 Social Summit to take place since the concept was inaugurated by President Lula of Brazil. The breadth of representation and the depth of engagement is most impressive. I am told that there have been more than 100 meetings that you have been involved in engaging together. It is here in this room where we lay the groundwork for global action on the G20 priorities. We know that global action will be credible because it is informed by the voices of the people. South Africa's G20 presidency has been premised on ensuring the interests of developing economy countries, that they must be elevated on the G20 agenda. We have sought to address poverty, inequality, and underdevelopment. Having taken the leaf from the focus that Brazil put on these issues, we decided too that we want to elevate these issues to a much higher level. We have worked to strengthen and to reform the international financial architecture, to democratize the systems of global governance, and to promote the right of all nations to development, to equality and dignity, and leaving no one behind. We have used our G20 presidency to reiterate the call for the world's leading economies to invest in sustainable development and in the conservation of the planet for future generations. We wish to congratulate Brazil for having hosted COP30, which is still going on, but also congratulate President Lula for having insisted that the rainforests, the tropical forests, must be protected. But for the decisions taken at the upcoming G20 Leader Summit to stand tall, to grow, to have credibility and legitimacy, they have to be nourished by strong roots. These roots are our civil society and community organizations, women's organizations, youth formations, academia, think tanks, business, labor, and grassroots formations that focus on, yes, gender issues, like the LGBTIQ community, like the disabled communities, like the unemployed people. They must therefore be rooted amongst those communities. We are fortunate to have secured the full and meaningful participation of all the formations in this summit, including, and by no means am I going to count them all, including the Women 20, the Youth 20, the Business 20, the Civil 20, the Labor 20, the Parliament 20, the Media 20, the Disability 20. Now you will have to tell me which one is left, because there are so many.
It is not easy to host lots of people, let alone hosting dignitaries. Like South Africans has actually helped Africa. You know, South Africa has helped Africa a lot, irrespective of what is going on. I'm fine, there were some group that wanted to disrupt, like, okay, we want them to hear our voice, but that notwithstanding, the police, they did not even allow them. But that is by the way. The truth is that South Africa has helped Africa a lot. They hosted the World Cup, now the G20 Summit. All of this processes. So I will not say I'm proud to be in South Africa. I will say I love being in South Africa. You know, yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, share this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye for now.